1, 0.
Gary's been watching Sesame Street. Hey everybody, welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. I'm Matt Connerton, and of course to my right, the Honorable Gary S. Hopper.
Sir Matt, nice to see you again this evening.
Thank you. Good to be seen.
What the heck did I? Oh, I don't remember.
Hey, Matt, you're in my chair again.
Hey, Matt. Matt.
Oh.
Honey, get out of my chair.
Oh. Okay, so
You're in my chair again.
she says, "Oh, I got to get some water before the show, right?"
Right.
And then like it takes her like literally 5 years.
Just 5 years.
And then she finally saunters back into the studio. Oh, I'm ready for the show now.
So get out of my chair.
Yeah, exactly, Matt.
I didn't want to say this, Gary.
Right.
But you might want to consider permanently replacing her with me, because
I don't know, Matt. I don't know. She is a little bit better looking.
Yeah, well, she is prettier than I am. That's true.
Thank you.
That's true. All right. Well, I kept it warm for you.
I appreciate
Thanks
that.
for showing up.
Well, anytime.
Elizabeth, top of the
sir.
evening to you.
Well, nice to see you.
Nice seeing you. So we have Kim Morin on, who is crazy nuts, does all kinds of, you do writing for, you're president of the Women's Defense League. Mm-hmm. You do...
I'm the editor of New Hampshire Political Buzz and a writer.
NH Political Buzz, and you do Granite Grok articles.
Granite Grok. I also write for the Federalist Papers Project, Same Page Nation, and I'm a reporter for Heartland Institute.
Goodness.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, I'm a little busy.
You are a little passionate too, apparently.
Little bit. She's a little bit crazy. Crazy.
Well, let's not throw the crazy word around.
Not crazy in a bad way. Crazy
No.
because I spend so much time doing this.
No, because in New Hampshire, if you're thoroughly embedded in politics, it's because you care, not because you're figured out some cool way to make money.
Well,
No.
let's be real. That live free or die. We
emphasize the frickin' free part is what it is.
Yeah, well, live free. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm talking about money free. In other words,
Yeah.
everybody works for free.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's
But
what
no,
they mean when they say live free or die. They mean the legislators don't get any money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're talking about.
I tried explaining that to someone the other day. I'm like, no, they get $100 a year.
They go, yeah.
Senators get $200. They didn't believe me.
No, they don't.
Oh, they don't? I
They
thought they
do
got
not.
$200.
No.
Oh, they only get 100 too?
They get 100. It is
that?
the speaker gets 125.
Oh. So it really pays off to be the speaker.
Yeah, that's why so many people want to be speaker and do all those extra hours of work.
Yeah,
for that
exactly.
$25 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, senators don't get any more than us. They
I
just
thought
get
they did.
nicer. They get desks and
Office.
and little
An office.
offices and
Cube
things.
Farm. I've seen their offices.
Right. I had an office once. Just once.
Just once. This is your office now.
This is my office. Right, exactly. I get this desk for 1 hour a week.
1 hour a week.
We
have to share it.
We have to share it.
You do have to share
Have to share it with Elizabeth.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong at all with that. So what was today? You wanted to come on and talk about the people running for governor, I think, and who's running for Hillsborough District 2. Remember, for state representative.
For state rep, Hillsborough. Is that you?
Yeah.
Shocker. He wants to talk about himself tonight.
Exactly.
I'm so
Exactly.
surprised.
There's so many
shocker, I
reps
know.
running. Probably half I've never even heard of, unless their names get out there as being bad or really
They
good.
don't
I
get
probably
known. Right. And nothing's changed in 5 years, I might add. And that was a long drink of water and all, but nothing's changed.
No, not really.
No.
No, nothing.
That's okay.
No, he's
The seats in the Titanic have been rearranged. That's
Oh,
about
but the
it.
Titanic's still
It's
going
still
down.
sinking. It's still
Still
going
going down.
Yeah, that's why people like me and Gary fight to keep New Hampshire better.
Right.
And make it better
More
because
gooder, we call it on
more
the show.
gooder. Because Democrats are spending multiple millions of dollars all the time, but especially in this election, to try to take it over and just make it North Massachusetts.
Oh, so I can't blame this on a Democrat, although I would love to.
Oh, you'll do it. You'll find a way.
No, I really can't. Not on this one.
I blame Republicans for stuff too, so it doesn't matter.
Me too. I mean,
Okay.
it's a
I pulled the
mindset.
libertarian card, so you're
Right.
probably going to attack me later, but go ahead.
All right.
No, I don't. I'm an independent. I don't like any. I hate all political parties.
Really?
So yeah. Oh yeah. No,
All right.
no.
We'll have to get into that later. That's something I want to talk about.
So you just screwed me up. I had
you
a
forgot.
thought.
You
No,
forgot.
so anyway.
We'll just chat back and forth.
Can you just sit back and let the women
ma'am.
take over? All right?
Oh yeah, like that'd be something new. No, a Republican in Louisiana is putting forward a bill to require people to have a license to rescue people during a flood. Okay, so now you got all these. They're called the Cajun Navy.
Oh, I saw that.
They're loosely called the Cajun Navy. It's just kind of an affectionate term. And they're going around. I posted a video of one of them grabbing this little boy who's got this kind of deer in the headlight looks as he's being picked up by these people he doesn't know and put in the boat and taken to safety. And they're just awesome people. They're just awesome people doing exactly what they should do. But nope, the government's got to get involved because, Lord forbid, people should do the right thing.
Well, this is the same state that during Hurricane Katrina went and took people's guns, so they couldn't protect their homes from looters. So, you know.
That was Mississippi.
No, it was Louisiana.
It was.
New Orleans?
Yeah, it was New Orleans.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep. I remember that. Remember last year they tried to put a law to say you can't do that in New Hampshire.
Oh, we did try to do that, and it
Yes.
probably failed
It
at the
did.
governor's office.
It did fail.
No way!
No, it failed out of the. I don't
Senate?
think it even went through the. I don't know if it made it to the Senate, but it did. It failed.
It probably made it through the House.
It might have.
It's the Senate and the governor's office that are so twisted. And
I don't know. The House last year.
what did we do? Well, yeah, the House last year wasn't great, but it was
Ew.
better than when the Democrats were in charge the 2 years before.
I'm not so sure about
Oh,
that.
I am.
You
I
passed
am.
a tanning bed tax on teens. No, you passed a
Wasn't
ban
it-
on teens for tanning. Not you. I'm saying the
not
Republican-controlled
all-powerful.
House.
I am.
No, you're not.
Democrat-controlled House didn't pass it. It failed. Partially.
Are you kidding?
No.
I know.
I
that
didn't even-
No, don't get me wrong. I know that it passed, and I know I kept voting against it. But it just seems so bizarre.
That's why I didn't even pay attention so much during this past session, because I thought they'll never pass that, because it didn't pass when the Democrats controlled the House. Sure enough, the next thing I know, it passed. Yeah,
Wow.
so, yeah, not real.
So the same people who vote to say a 12-year-old can get an abortion without their parents even knowing about it decided that it's absolutely necessary for the government to get involved and say that same teenager can't get a tan until they're 18.
Oh, yeah, Democrats who are all for abortion and 12-year-olds not alerting their parents, yeah, they're for banning teens from tanning. Yeah.
And how this is even important to the government, and the government is wasting their time on such a minute, irrelevant thing is beyond me and frustrates me, because I think there are so much more important things they should be spending their time on, voting, spending my money on.
Yep.
Not that I'm here anymore, but because I need to go
Your
back out
alleged
for water.
money.
No, but it's true, and it's taking away parental rights. Who is the government to say what a parent makes a decision for their child to do in
Well,
that case?
We are going further and further away from the Jeffersonian
Absolutely.
government of
Yep.
of keeping the family, and states having power.
It's by design. It is absolutely by design. You cannot have a completely totalitarian government if you have strong families.
Right. I agree with that.
That's what it's all about. Okay, if you look at what Russia did, after the communists took over, is the things they did is they destroy the church and the family, because those are the two entities that children look up to for guidance. Okay, what they want is the government to be the only thing you look up to, or your children look up
Right.
to for help. That's why they want to pass laws against people rescuing other people during a flood, because they want the government to be all.
Right, to teach you everything you need to know, whether
Right.
it's accurate or not, and that
I
is
don't
the
care about
downfall of the community.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because notice, the more divided we all are, the more control they have. And the more
Absolutely.
control they can push. If we all united against the people who are the biggest perpetrators of issues in this country, the government, they would be toast.
Yeah.
It's no longer we the people ruling the government, it's the government ruling us. And that's why we're all sitting here trying to fight back against it, because
Right.
if we don't do this,
I just like the
it is
attention.
gonna
I don't
get
know
bad.
why you're here.
He does, but at the same time, I don't want to demonize the government, because
Why,
I was just
why wouldn't you demonize a demon?
because it's not the government.
Don't
It's
demonize a demon.
yeah, that wasn't funny.
Well, it's
No,
the
it
people
wasn't
running
funny.
the government. You're right. It's the people
some
running it.
of the people,
Right.
and it's some of our voting population that allows it.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing is. It's what does psychology say? Never say never. Never say always.
It's not all or nothing.
right.
Correct.
So I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
Figures.
No, I get
You
exactly
know what I'm
you're
saying? So you are in trouble.
I know. Again.
Gee, you're annoying. I forgot about that part.
So what's wrong with the water in New Hampshire? You have to go all the way to Colorado just to get water?
I'm in Florida now.
Florida, okay.
Keep up. Try to keep up, Sparky.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm going to be there in a couple weeks.
which part?
I guess the water's
Orlando,
really good.
one part of the month, and Tampa the other.
Are you? I'm in Jacksonville.
Oh, my dad used to live there.
To all the stalkers out there, I'm in Jacksonville.
It's great going up to the ocean over there. It's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
And it's not far from St. Augustine, which is beautiful.
No, I'm right there.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm right on the border.
You don't like history?
Okay, I'm going to call
I don't
Matt
think
back,
I
and
said
you're going to
that.
lose your
Didn't
chair.
you go to the Fountain of Youth?
No, I went down there. My dad died. I have a lot of difficulty, hazy, hot, and humid, physically. And I went down there in July, the end of July, because
a bad
after
move.
my dad died, his sailboat was still there and it had to be fixed up to sail it back to
Wait.
New England.
You were in my neighborhood, and you didn't call me.
This was before I ever knew you.
Okay.
Okay.
Then you're
And it
forgiven.
I
was
was gonna
just
say.
so
Then you're forgiven.
hazy, hot, and humid all the time. It was like, ugh.
It was
It is.
brutal.
Like
I was
living
there in
in-
July once, and we're not used to that. You have to get used to it. You
No,
open up
I
the
really
door, and it's like
don't.
No,
getting
I
hit with
really
a ball.
don't. I just simply won't move there.
No,
That's a good
exactly,
plan.
Exactly.
So you're libertarian.
I'm not a libertarian. I'm not
You're
anything.
voting.
I'm liberty-oriented, Constitution-oriented.
Okay.
So freedom, liberty, that's my thing.
Okay.
Why you have difficulties with the labels?
Because I don't like labels. I don't like the political parties. No party represents me.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so I've always been an independent or undeclared, whatever you want to call it.
Agreed.
I can, well, not from the Democrat Party, but I can pick and choose from Republican Party and Libertarian Party the things I like. I'm more closely aligned with Libertarians. But you know how it is with Libertarians. There's a slew of different factions within it.
Within any party, there's
gonna
a
have that.
spectrum.
Yep.
There's a spectrum. You can go to one extreme and always just vote party lines, but I think the more savvy and informed you are, you tend to be on the border. And for example, and this might ruffle feathers, but
Uh-oh.
oh yeah,
Here we go.
here it
I gotta write
comes.
this
Here we
down.
go. Yeah, no, we're doing it. I actually agree with a lot of the platform of Donald Trump, but I will not vote for Donald Trump. Personally, and as a leader, I find him inflammatory and will not do it. I'm going to vote Libertarian. And I like Gary Johnson.
Do?
Yes, I'm going to vote that way. You'll be fine. Breathe.
No, I will not.
Yes, you will. But I actually really align with Donald Trump's platform. But I don't lean 100% that way. And I think it's time for us to have a third party to be taken seriously. Now, people would argue that I'm throwing away the vote, but I'm not.
No, it's your vote. It's your vote. I'm voting for my bulldog. I'm not voting for any of them because
Right.
they're all terrible in my opinion, including Gary.
This election of all elections is the time, since we have, as many people would agree, we have two extremely bad, poor choices.
2 New York liberals for the main parties.
So it's time that we are taken seriously, that we would like a third party. And now we have, let's see, the Libertarian Party is, I think, has a 15% approval rate
They
in
have
the
to
Midwestern.
get to 15%.
No, they're already at 15%.
Right. No, but
In the
Gary has to
Midwestern
get
sense.
He
to a
has
certain-
nationally. They have to get to 15% just to get on the stage with the.
But they're close.
The thing that this is the first year I would have voted Libertarian. And then they brought Johnson out and Weld. And I'm from Massachusetts and I was under
Weld
Weld.
is
as-
not
Weld
a
is horrible.
Libertarian.
Johnson and Weld are both progressive Republicans in my opinion.
Really?
They're,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah. Johnson is against the First Amendment, freedom of religion. He's sketchy on the Second Amendment, and he just came out the other day, brought out his inner man bear pig, and said that we should pay a carbon tax for the global warming hoax. So he's for cap and trade.
So he's for cap and trade. Not only that, Weld came out.
Oh, Weld is
already-
just horrifying. Forget
Weld,
Weld
Weld is
altogether.
already anti-Second Amendment.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking, did you see what you? I think you saw that article. You might have posted it, but the article about the Attorney General in Massachusetts.
I'm not
Yes.
familiar with it.
Okay, Attorney General of Massachusetts came out a while ago and said that she, by herself, was deciding what the legislature meant by the law they passed and had decided that certain AR-15s and assault-type weapons could no longer be sold in the state of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then she modified it yesterday and said, yes, I still agree with that, except there are exceptions. A Mini 14, which is basically a cheap poor man's AR-15,
Okay.
and any .22 caliber weapon. Well, an AR-15 is a .22 caliber
Right.
weapon.
And a
So
22
she-
is
Yeah,
you're
it's
thinking
pew,
of-
pew, pew.
right.
See, she
It's
doesn't know what
harmless,
she's
just
talking.
about. It's a BB gun.
No, it is not. No, never. No.
Well,
it's not.
Well, I'm
That's-
sorry. I have a 22.
I
and
realize
it's
that,
unimpressive.
but people.
I have
more
a scary
people-
pink camo rifle that would be banned in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, no,
It's
she came out and
223.
changed it. Yeah, she
She
came out.
changed it because
Yeah.
she doesn't know what she's talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. Well, they don't in Massachusetts.
To be
believe
that
me.
selective with the guns when
It's a list.
it's
Yeah, it's insanity. That's
It
what.
is.
That's why I left Massachusetts. I call it Massachusetts.
You mean you escaped?
I fled. No, I fled. I lived there my whole life. I lived in a great beach town.
What town?
Gloucester.
Oh,
That's
I used to
beautiful.
live
I
in
had a gorgeous
Rockport.
sunset every night in my front yard. I mean, I lived in a great place.
So you actually left the state because of politics?
because of the Second Amendment was the
Really?
It was. I got sick of the nanny statism, but then when I went to practice my Second Amendment rights and found out I was treated like a criminal to do so, I said, I'm out of here. And 2 months later, we were gone.
I'm
Right.
impressed.
That
is
was
conviction.
it. It was the straw. It was the straw. That's why I'm a Second Amendment activist here, because
So is that your passion of everything? It's the Second Amendment?
no,
Or
it's
if you
First
had
and
to
Second
pick
Amendment.
the
If I
top
had to
three
pick
things you were most passionate about, what would they be?
First and Second Amendment,
Okay.
and well, the third one is a whole list of things.
Nope.
Smaller
Yeah.
government, lower tax. I mean.
Okay.
But First and Second Amendment are huge to me. That's why when any
Okay.
candidate says, I'm against these things, these are the things that if we don't have the Second Amendment, we lose the First.
Absolutely.
And we have to have the First in order for us to have even this conversation. Because otherwise we become a country where, and we already see it happening on college campuses and all over the place, where if you say something that's kind of not PC, then they need a safe space, and it's a microaggression, and that's against the First Amendment.
right.
So I'm a huge supporter of those two amendments. Are huge. I mean, all the other ones matter as well.
Of
Don't get me
course.
wrong,
No, I
but
get what you're saying.
Those are my two most important ones, I think.
Second Amendment is by far the most relevant. Absolutely.
Where's your phone? Turn that off.
You didn't
don't
turn
have
your
a phone.
phone down?
That's
You're
so
the
rude.
actual host?
I don't have a cell phone.
Before I came here, my
have a
daughter and
tablet.
I, who
Wanna
I'm
see?
taking to college at UNH.
Oh, nice.
I forgot how mean you were.
I know. I
love
prefer to call it
He's got
feisty.
two mean women on at the
I know.
same time?
I prefer to be called feisty, but whatever works. No.
Whatever. Yeah, go. on.
We stopped in Washington, D.C., and we went to the National Archives. And so my daughter and I are going through looking at all the original documents. And my daughter, who is gorgeous and brilliant, she's going to be, I have to brag, engineering student.
Nice.
She was looking at how deteriorated the documents were. And she said that she was concerned, and I was so impressed by this, that as soon as, and I don't know how many out there have seen the original documents, but it's not like National Treasure, and you can see the writing is actually incredibly faded, and I don't know how long it'll be before we can't see any of it. And she feels like, what if when it's so faded you can't see it, and the original document itself is totally illegible, will we feel the need to rewrite it completely? And that's when complete trouble will begin, because we'll rewrite it in a way that is no longer
Representative what it meant.
of what it meant, which is still valuable.
Well, and that's like schools not teaching cursive. If they don't teach cursive, kids can't even read that
It's not
document.
cursive, it's connective writing.
But you know, so it's
Yeah.
it's already like they're trying to whitewash that away.
Absolutely.
Because I've seen documents at in Philadelphia, in the historic places in
The
Philadelphia.
kids can't read them.
No.
And I think that's a shame. That's another step away from reading all these amazing original documents that are part of their important history. Mm-hmm. They've just removed these children from being able to teach them. It's like saying Latin is not important, but yet go to medical school.
Yep.
Well, how are these students in medical school going to be able to learn to be doctors if they can never be taught to read Latin?
I took 4 years of it in high school, so I'm all for Latin.
Good.
Yeah, I just know that when you go back to the founding documents, a really good example of that is the revisionist history trying to convince people that this wasn't a Christian-oriented country to begin with. because if you look at all the beginning documents, it was everywhere.
Well, and if you read the Federalist Papers, they talk about, you know what I mean? They talk about all that kind of stuff. You can't just read the documents. You got to even read the background of.
The
You have
background.
to know the
created.
context.
But like-
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, in
yeah.
our Article 6 of the New Hampshire Constitution, it talks about it. It's still, the title is morality and piety. Well, people don't know what piety is. Piety is reverence for God and family.
Right.
I was going to say, I forgot about that one.
Right. So morality, reverence for God and family, and
Right.
it further goes in. Basically, the entire article is a reference to the fact that if you don't have a moral society, you lose control of it, and
Society
government
breaks down.
Government can only work. This type of government can only work in a moral society.
Absolutely.
And in the original one, it talks about the necessity to teach children evangelical principles. So it was never intended to be a secular society. It was intended that the federal government not be ruled by any one denomination, but to say that it was supposed to be secular is insane.
That is incorrect.
Well, the problem is you can be secular and have morals.
Yeah.
But our morals have deteriorated tremendously in society today.
Because any people who were secular, even people who were atheists or secular, were still brought up in a morally Christian country.
And taught what was
And-
right
With
and wrong.
manners,
right or wrong.
what was appropriate.
So if you're an atheist and a cannibal, you're going to stay a cannibal. Why? Because you have no reference point.
Right.
So atheists in the United States are still taught Christian morality. As time has gone on, they've done a pretty good job of eliminating that, to the point where it was somebody pointed out on an article yesterday that, remember the St. Valentine's Massacre in Chicago?
No.
I do remember
I think it was
hearing
like
about it, yeah.
7 people were shot down over in the I forget what it was, whatever the alcohol prohibition. Okay, 7 people are killed. Big news all over the country. St. Valentine's Massacre. It's so famous, people still remember today. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little black children have been shot this year alone in Chicago. The carnage is unreasonable. It's crazy. Doesn't make the news.
No, because it's Democrats who are responsible for the breakdown of families and the breakdown of the black community when LBJ put in the war on poverty.
Yep.
It created more poverty. It took fathers out of the picture. It broke up the families, and that's why 72% of the black community are single parents. It's
Yeah.
horrific what they have done, and it's disgusting that Democrats keep pushing their same policies that continue this cycle of poverty and this cycle of breaking up families, because if you don't break the family up, they won't give you the help that you might need
Right.
temporarily.
Yeah.
It's horrifying, and it's horrifying to me that people don't get this, especially
It
the
is-
black community.
It is so profoundly evil and deliberate
Oh yeah.
that it's... And now, don't get me wrong, I think most Democrats look at welfare and things as like the kind thing to do. I don't think they look into it enough to realize that they're destroying entire cultures.
Right.
Well,
They don't.
But I
the
think
leaders of it know exactly what they're
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
You're right. The sheep that just follow, they don't.
No.
They don't understand. I think, right. There's always a percentage that understand, and there's a huge percentage that are just thinking that they're doing the right thing.
Right.
That know part of the information, but maybe not all of the information. And because on the surface, these are good programs. These are helpful
It sounds
programs.
good.
Yes,
They
and in principle, it is a great idea. But we've all seen and understood the principle of being an enabler. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with a lot of these welfare programs, if that's what we're really talking about. And
Right.
the psychology behind these welfare programs that encourage the whole, and speaking of Christian principles, but it's really logic.
It is logic,
It is
too.
logic. You know, teach someone to fish and feed themselves.
I just read an article today about this woman who, I only follow her because she blogs great recipes, really good recipes. But she went to Africa with her husband for this program, and it's all voluntary charity, and they donate money they loan money to these to people in Ghana, 90% of who are women, so they can start their own business.
I know
you
this program.
Yeah.
I know exactly what
Mentors,
you're talking
yeah.
about.
And-
Very
and
impressive.
Not only do these, and we're talking $100 is what they loan them. They loan them
So
these.
impressive.
It's women that I saw. They loan them the money. These women create their business. They become successful, and they pay the money back within half the time because they become successful. They take care of their families. They hire other villagers. That's what it's all about. Help give them a hand up, not a hand out, and it works.
I saw some of these women, obviously, just some, testify about this program, and I was incredibly impressed.
They do it in India too.
Yeah, we need to do more of this in our own country.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to fight in our own country the simplicity of getting handouts. So, unfortunately, we are battling laziness, complacency, but that program is so impressive, and
Yeah.
I was absolutely motivated and touched by what those women do. But those women were truly hungry, truly desperate.
They were desperate. Yeah.
They were truly on the verge of life and death. No, I'm not going to say no, and that would be incorrect. I think it is rare. Now, I'm speaking probably out of ignorance because I live in a nice house and have never been there, so forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn. But it's probably a very small percentage, there we go, of people who are on that life and death verge of, I will do anything. Teach me anything and I will do it.
Right.
Just to feed myself, just to feed my family. Most people are like, nah,
I
I'll
can
do
go
what I barely
to
can.
get help. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, the thing is part of the problems is that the Democrats have set it up so that even in the poorest communities in the United States, people are still fundamentally rich.
That's
Compared
my point.
to the other around the world, absolutely.
That's
Air
my point.
conditioners, iPhones, cars.
No one's without a phone. I don't care
No.
how little money you have. You may be without anything else, but by golly, you have a phone.
Gary doesn't.
You don't
Well,
have
Gary's
a cell
little
phone?
different.
No, I don't.
What's wrong with you?
Gary's surrounded by people who have cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary's okay.
I'm dependent on everybody else that has one.
You know they
Exactly.
don't have payphones in here anymore, right?
But Gary has Facebook.
They don't?
No, they do in Canada, but they don't here.
Monterey
I know, you actually use the computer.
I know. I was
Oh,
Facebooking
yeah.
him on my way here. So,
Hey, anyway, before we run out of time, you really wanted to come on and talk about the governor's race.
How much time do we have?
We have 25 minutes.
Okay, good, because I wanted to talk about the Democrats and the Republicans.
Yeah, because I don't know hardly anything about the Democrats. They're just, but it was really weird
Do you
because
need
I
to
think
know?
it was your article, somebody else's article, talking about, I think it was you, talking about how anti-gun the Democrats are, which is weird. I thought it was weird because anybody that's been in the New Hampshire House knows that a good percentage of the Democrats, whether they care about the Second Amendment is another question, but they typically don't vote directly against it.
Right, because their constituents, a majority of constituents in New Hampshire, are for
Hampshire.
Second Amendment rights.
absolutely.
So it's weird that you have Democrats who want to become governor going after the Second Amendment. This is very
Look at Maggie
strange.
Hassan. She finally came out and admitted she wants to ban firearms. So, and Jean Shaheen did too. These women never said this before. But, Maggie Hassan's getting payback for vetoing constitutional carry from the out-of-state gun control groups like Mark Kelly's group, Americans for Responsible Solutions, and Big Daddy Warbucks, Michael Bloomberg. They're getting almost, they're spending over $3.5 million in ads against Kelly Ayotte for Maggie Hassan. That's her payback. We said all along she's probably doing this for out-of-state organizations. We were right.
Right.
Now we got the proof.
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, but Democrats would never, do that. Would they actually take sorry. So anyway,
Did you just
Bill
say
Clinton?
that out loud?
Bill Clinton administration, 90s? Ring a bell?
nope, I wasn't there. I was somewhere else.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm being
Over the
sarcastic.
cuckoo's nest.
So, tell me about the Democrats.
Okay,
please.
so we have Colin Van Ostrand. I gotta remember to call him by the proper name.
what did I call him last
Don't
week,
call
Matt?
names,
Oyster
only he
Man or
does that.
something like Oyster
No,
Man.
I have nicknames.
Yes.
Oyster Man.
Colin Van Ostrand, Mark Connolly, and Steve Marchand. And so the three of them in the article I wrote, they were asked by WMUR their thoughts on gun control. And all three of them said, well, I don't think they even all said it, I'm for the Second Amendment, but anyone who says that is not for the Second Amendment.
Because they want to amend it. They want to tweak it.
Oh yeah, they want to ban guns. They don't
They don't want to say it outright.
They don't want to say it outright when they're running for election. except for apparently Maggie Hassan and Jean Shaheen, but Shaheen isn't running. But Van Osten, the first things he brings up are Sandy Hook, San Bernardino, and Orlando. Two of the, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean
Whoa!
Put your hands down. Put them on the table.
I can't, sorry. The first two were terrorist, he talks about 2 terrorist attacks where one of them, the FBI should have been paying attention to both of those.
Correct.
And one of them was a straw man purchase. The third one is due to our mental health laws being so restrictive that families can't do anything about people who they believe can hurt someone
Right.
else.
Right.
Which is people like Van Osten put those laws into place, 10, 20 years ago? So,
Right.
and we can't, our hands are tied. So he talks about 3 cases where the FBI failed us. Gun control did work because in Orlando, the guy was denied certain purchases he wanted to make. The gun shop owner alerted the FBI. They did nothing.
Well, not only did the gun shop owner alert the FBI, Walt Disney Corporation alerted the FBI
Because he was staking them out, that's right.
because he was staking them out with his wife, and they basically sent a message back to him, basically calling him Islamophobic and tough crap. You know, deal with it. You're just being paranoid.
So, what does Van Osten bring up? 2 Islamic terrorist attacks. And I wrote after the Orlando happened that the Democrats, they wouldn't even admit it was an Islamic terrorist attack.
No.
They just instantly came out about gun control.
He uses that word Islamic just to be inflammatory. That's the buzzword that'll get everybody all,
If he was a
Hypered
Christian
up.
terrorist, I would use the same word, but you know what I mean?
Right.
These guys won't even admit the truth. So he uses 3 cases that are moot points.
The other thing on this, the last case of Sandy Hook, out-of-state protesters came up and attacked Kelly Ayotte. I went up to Bristol, New Hampshire, with my step-grandson, and was there filming it. I think when Matt was host a long time ago, I had a video.
He's just been fired.
Interviewing this young lady who's there, and I said, "What proposed law?" Because Feinstein had this thing written before Sandy Hook.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, because it was just an opportunity
Right.
for her. That's all she cares about.
Yeah.
Right.
So she introduces the law. I asked that young woman, I says, okay, if the bill before Congress right now, in the Senate right now, had taken effect 2 years ago, would that have prevented Sandy Hook?
No.
No.
Well, I know it's no. She had no idea.
I asked the
She
Senate-
has no clue, and she's holding up signs, we will remember.
They don't remember anything because
They
they don't
have
even
no
know.
idea.
Well, and I interviewed someone. Every town had a protest in Exeter, so I went and interviewed a state rep. Can't remember his name now. Not too bright. But I got him on video saying, well, nothing would have changed. Nothing would have stopped it. No
No.
laws. Of
Nothing-
course they wouldn't have. Because humans have been committing violence against other humans long before firearms.
Since Adam and Eve, not to bring up a Christian reference, because
But still-
forbid. But
That's a Jewish reference.
oh, sorry.
Really? That's
Well,
not what I was taught.
It just depends on what religion you are.
I guess,
how
yeah.
you want to slant that one. Let's not get into that.
Old Testament.
Yes,
Torah.
I know that, but the Old Testament is also Christian. We've had this conversation.
We did? When?
Heal.
Yes, ma'am.
Good boy.
Who needs an
anyway.
intervention?
We've had that a couple times. It usually involves alcohol.
No,
Yeah.
I don't drink. I don't.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, because I'm allergic.
Oh my God, that's horrifying.
Yeah, I break out in handcuffs.
That's what I thought. I was waiting for the line. I'm like,
I knew there should have been a punchline.
Cynthia?
I actually know people who are allergic. That's why I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible.
Anyway, so
So back to the
Oyster Man wants to outlaw guns, or what does he say?
he claims he's a gun owner, which I find hard to believe.
BB gun?
Yeah, maybe.
Water gun.
Probably not
Yeah,
even.
water
His,
gun,
his
yeah.
wife probably wouldn't let him have them. But so he claims he's for the
Nerf.
Second Amendment. But all 3 of them, Marchand, Connolly, they all talk about we have to do something. Extended background checks. Okay, sure. That's not going to do anything because
No.
criminals don't obey them. Anything they want to do only affects law-abiding citizens. It only
Exactly.
curbs and infringes upon our rights because we will obey the laws.
Right.
We go into gun-free zones without a firearm. Well, but it depends on if it's federal or not. But
You're like,
it depends on what the law is.
iffy on that one.
But Marchand, Connolly talked about banning firearms outright, and Marchand talked about how I think it was Marchand. I have to look because I don't have all three in front of me, because you know how painful it is to listen to Democrats talk about this stuff.
Do you know why I fall asleep
That's what
in
I
the
did this
State House?
morning, because you're listening to Democrats talk, or Catherine Rogers specifically.
Anyway, so
Be nice, you two. Come on now.
Does she know who Catherine Rogers is?
I don't
We should
know.
show her.
I don't.
You would change your
why
mind.
would you? Well, wait till she's had a couple drinks. Anyway,
But so one of them used the statistics that 40% of gun sales are private sales and sold over the internet. They're getting that from that lunatic Xander Rice Hawkins from Progress New Hampshire, out of state left-wing organization that's been pushing money here to try to change the state for years. Not even registered as a business, at least last time I checked. That 40% number is a lie. First of all, it was based on a survey from 2 decades ago of 251 people. Where'd you get your gun? Half of the people couldn't even remember, and that was before the Brady. Some of them were. It was before the Brady bill was in place.
I would want to know exactly where these statistics were
I
coming from.
debunked them all. Any statistic they throw up, I debunked. I debunked them in the legislature in front of their faces with a presentation when I was fighting against one of their gun control bills.
I would have loved to have seen
was-
that. That would have been epic.
yeah,
Hey,
no,
what are you gonna
it is-
do?
It is also the case that they will claim, even in New Hampshire, they say, well, you got to get rid of the gun show loophole.
There's no.
Wait.
Okay. Don't get me going.
Too late.
There is none.
No.
It is legal in New Hampshire for me to sell Elizabeth if she was a New Hampshire resident, but if she was a New Hampshire
Only if she was
resident,
right.
a New Hampshire resident, it would be perfectly legal for me to sell her a gun. Why? Because I know her.
Do you remember
Okay.
what gun you were going to sell me? You remember?
No.
Think about it. What gun did I want before I left? Raspberry.
Oh, the Raspberry 380? No, I gave it to my daughter.
Jerk.
I'm a little more fond
That's
of
why
her.
I left.
That's why you left. I thought it was the water, you said.
Oh, I lied.
Oh.
Anyway.
Anyway.
continue.
But that's so they keep pushing the same lies. A lot of people know the truth now because they've been told. But one of them also said 90% of NRA members want background checks. Number one, the NRA doesn't sell its member list. So you have no verification that these people
Right.
are actually NRA members. So it's another bogus statistic they use. All of them are anti-Second Amendment, want more gun control, and will ban guns in a heartbeat if they, God forbid, got elected. So
Well, what we really have to worry about is not them getting elected, it's Hillary getting elected and her appointing Obama as a Supreme Court justice.
please, this Twilight Zone enough with this election. So
Anyway.
but and then Van Osten on top of it is like a man-child obsessed with trains. He
wait.
wants that
Man-child?
commuter rail to nowhere, and that's like his big thing. He's so proud of himself because he wants that choo-choo train, the train that's going to cost taxpayers millions of dollars to ship. I made a meme up with him and Thomas the Tank Engine
You are
off the rails.
harsh.
Oh, yeah, she
on
is.
a
She's
roll.
brutal.
Holy cow.
She is.
I'm being nice right now.
Okay, don't get mad at me. Get mad at him, because I want to see what you drop of him. But
Yeah, right.
But so he wants this train to nowhere.
you're welcome.
He wants this train to nowhere that's going to get temporary jobs for his union buddies and then bring his white collar professional friends to their jobs in a train to Boston where they're paying Massachusetts income tax just so they have a little ride back and forth. Meanwhile, the people up north who don't have jobs, the people all around the state who don't want to pay for this train and don't use the train are going to be subsidizing his little buddies. Maybe he can have a special dinner train and dinner cart on it too. We already have the Exeter rail, the rail in Exeter,
Right.
and we already have the express bus, which we subsidize. Both are government subsidized. I don't know how much, or if anything, we pay for the one, the main down Easter, but I know we subsidize the express bus. That was
So-
another boondoggle.
Well, see, that's pretty cool, because if they had a special dining car, they'd call it the Oyster car.
Really, that's
Don't
what
get
you
me
have?
started because I could come
What?
up with all different
That's what
things
you
here.
came up with?
That was it. That's all
That
I
was
got.
it?
That's it.
right.
Sorry.
But that's his big thing. The guy says, I've had a decade of business experience. No, buddy. He got a job at Stonyfield in 2011. He thinks that's all this experience in business. He's mostly been nothing but a Democrat party hack. That's what he's
really?
been. Yes. Yes, he's been nothing but a party hack. So what do you think he's going to do if he gets to, God forbid, gets into office? He's going to be like Hass and just do whatever the party tells her.
So was this information easy for you to find? Is this something everybody can find out about him, or?
Oh God, yeah. You know what? Well, I'm not done writing about him. It depends on.
Spread the rant to everybody.
This is why I started New Hampshire Political Buzz. The title of it is "Spreading the Truth, Outing the Lies, and Exposing the Corruption," and it's both sides. I looked when I started it up. I looked at all my previous stories.
You haven't looked at all my campaign funding yet, have you?
No.
Good.
I know. Oh, I know some of your campaign funding. I'm not
What,
happy
the
with.
$5 he got?
No. Other campaign funding. Don't get me started on that. So.
Let's not give him any more attention.
So the point is, all three Democrat candidates are for bigger government, higher taxes.
She's kicking me.
No, I'm not.
Bigger government, higher taxes, and less freedom. All of them.
Right.
I mean, you think Maggie, a lot of people, even Democrats, are really disappointed with Maggie Hassan because she's been useless. She's been useless.
No, she has not.
Except for more higher spending.
She has been very, very careful, extremely careful about doing nothing so that she could run for U.S. Senate.
Right.
That's her. If you watch what she's done, that's been her. And she didn't really do anything really anti-Second Amendment, like horribly anti-Second Amendment. She just kind of did something that was...
She voted against ending racism and discrimination.
I get it. Okay, listen. When the Republicans...
She voted against women's rights.
When a Republican... when a Republican budget finally got to her that was lower than what she wanted...
But not by much.
She took credit for basically, having the extra money in the bank account and all that. I mean... She has played because she's not a nice candidate. At least her predecessor was a nice person, or came across as a really nice guy, somebody you wanted to vote for. But she can't do that because she's...
That's true. Lynch did come across... She's not personable. She's not friendly.
But how important is that in the job?
Not the job. I'm talking about electability. It's the difference between Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton was the best politician I think has ever been in the United States that I've known of.
Sorry.
I didn't say I liked him or agreed with him. I'm talking about his ability as a politician. He was extremely well. I remember after one of the events with Monica Lewinsky or something like that, and I'm taking this out of, I don't remember exactly where it was.
You sure you want to say this out loud?
Yeah, but anyway, he was talking about his performance when he said something, and when he got off stage he said something like that, I don't think I was sincere enough. Okay, so that told you everything you need to know. He knew exactly how to sound sincere.
So he was a wordsmith.
He was excellent. He was excellent at being a politician.
I don't want my leaders, I don't care. Well, that's not entirely true, so I'll explain that in a minute. I don't necessarily care. For example, if my doctor is a personable, great guy, yes, I would love it if he had a bedside manner, but I really don't care. I want him to be excellent at his actual job.
Right.
However, having said that, one of my biggest beefs with Trump is that he's a freaking inflammatory lunatic whose behavior is worse than a 5-year-old that I will give a timeout to.
I call him Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka.
Oh my goodness. That's perfect.
Remember Veruca Salt? She had the fit. She wanted the golden egg.
Tantrum.
She wanted it now.
I would like to Botox his entire face so he'll stop pouting and making that face. But my point being is I don't care.
I'm watching his face because he knows how I feel about Trump too. So,
but I want someone who, it's more important to me that you are good at your job than that you are nice and happy and electable.
Yeah, I get it. But that I'm not talking.
I know what you're saying.
I am not talking about what they do in their job. I'm talking about the ability to get elected. Your ability to get elected. And
personality is part of it.
I know that, and I think
that's the only reason I get elected.
Yeah. No, that's not.
No, it isn't.
But like Clinton doesn't have that.
Oh my God.
And
you really want to get started on Hillary?
Maggie
No.
Schmasson doesn't have it.
No.
She's horrible. She's got a horrible personality.
She's got a horrible personality.
What's
she's
the
not
deal with her? Side note.
Which
Because
one?
that's all I do is side notes.
You're worse than me and my sister when we go on tangents.
What? Squirrel?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Squirrel,
Yeah.
exactly.
Usually I only do this for glitter.
Yeah.
Shiny.
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 It's shiny. The Exeter case with the because you did an article on that too.
Yep. Because there was a poll done. The Maggie Hassan's husband basically covered up a case of sexual abuse, and I don't care they call it a sex scandal. A teacher is sleeping with a student, that's sex abuse because of the
Absolutely.
dynamics. That's sexual
Absolutely.
abuse to me. So they
Now,
covered it up.
why are they calling it not sex abuse? Because
They're calling
it's
it a sex
16?
scandal. No, I think the girl was 17 or 8. I don't know how old she was, but she was a student
Right.
at Phillips Exeter. So they called it a sex scandal, probably just to make it not as inflammatory.
Instead of making it black and white, they put it into the gray zone.
Right.
So
So it's sexual abuse. It was a case of sexual abuse. Maggie Hassan's husband covered it up as the headmaster of Phillips Exeter, and then Maggie had the guy who committed this sexual abuse on her steering committee when she was running for governor last time. She covered it up too.
Well,
they thought they
yeah,
would never get caught.
Yeah,
To
but
me,
did
that
she
shows such a
know?
lapse in
Did
judgment.
She
you-
lived on campus.
Okay.
Don't tell me she didn't know.
Okay, but did her husband know that the guy had already done it?
Yes.
Okay.
He knew at the time. It was a year later that Maggie had him on. So
So this guy basically screws the little kid, and then Maggie hires her to be on the steering committee.
him.
Is this
Him.
him?
was
I
man.
I think that says so much about a politician who they have in their circle of trust, so to speak. And I think it says volumes.
Well, and there was a poll done. I forget who did the poll, and they said, you know, would it bother you to, what would you vote for Maggie Hassan if you knew that she knew about this cover up, whatever. It was a question about
Even
that.
if she had a pedophile
If
on
you-
her payroll.
and she did it
That's not a
knowing her
pedophile.
Well, I
husband.
know, but I'm giving an example.
But and the majority of voters were most likely to not vote for her.
Okay.
Right.
So that's why I wrote about it and bring it up, because it's disgusting. No one in their right mind would ever think that's acceptable.
No.
And that's why she supports Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton tried to cover up her husband's sexual
Yeah, we
assault
had
victims.
one of her.
Don't get me started on this.
Oh, I love talking
No,
about
we
Hillary.
had Dolly Kyle on.
Yes.
A few weeks ago.
Yep.
So.
Well, you know me, I'm one of the biggest anti-Hillary people in all of New Hampshire, so.
5 years ago, before I went out for a drink, we did an episode on.
You have a drinking problem.
No, I like
She was
water.
she was getting water.
Yeah, sure.
Dehydrated.
Right. Whatever you say. Anyway.
Just sit there and look pretty.
No, that's gonna take a while.
We no, we did an episode on.
We only have an hour.
I know. We did an episode on Hillary's book. I just had chemo brain. Raise a Village. Help me.
Oh,
It Takes
yeah.
a Village.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
That book just made me so angry.
Yeah, we did do a whole
Remember
thing on
that?
that. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking because basically Hillary, you had the contrast. At that time, I was supporting Senator. He wrote it. He wrote the book.
Oh yes. Oh gosh.
You know who I mean?
You guys
Starts
are
with an
killing me.
S.
Santorum.
Oh,
Okay, so I was supporting
Santorum.
Santorum. He wrote the book. It Takes a Family.
Right. We
In
had
response
his
to It Takes a Village.
manager on.
We had his manager.
Wasn't that her?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's too long ago.
Goodness, we're
I can't
both
remember where you went for water. so.
pathetic.
Anyway, that's the whole contrast. His thing was it's necessary to have a family. Hers was it takes a village, which sounds on the surface correct. Okay, on the surface, if you don't look any further than the title, that doesn't sound bad. That we look back to the times when people had their family.
It was community.
and it was a
Right.
community.
But
and
that's not what the book
If the
is
kid
really
breaks
about.
a window over here, Uncle Bob saw it and calls up Ma.
But
Hey,
if you
you little
actually read
crap."
the book,
No, it's about, all the Democrats want pre-K now. They want to start indoctrinating the kids earlier.
and if you
But
don't
anyway-
put your child in pre-K, you're
Anyway,
in trouble.
my point is that it takes a village. To her, the village is the government.
Yes.
It isn't the village.
No, it's not. It's not the family and the community.
No.
It's the It's the government.
And it takes your choices away. As
Okay,
a parent,
okay,
it interferes.
Exactly.
We only get 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I wanted
Okay.
to talk about the Republican candidate.
Go, we get 3
Okay,
minutes.
Gatsas is horrible. He's one of the worst mayors in all of New Hampshire. He's corrupt. He's got his crony buddies and the developers. He lied about Common Core. He voted against changing Common Core and lied to parents about it. Now he's trying to say, oh, no, that didn't really happen. Chris Sununu, failed businessman. Waterville Valley is a joke. He hasn't done anything to make it better
They should
in
know
all
about
those
him.
years.
He's been around forever. They should know that.
Well, most people
No, they
don't.
don't.
No,
They don't.
people don't know any of this stuff. People are not. The mainstream media in New Hampshire does not report the truth.
Okay,
They
so
do
anyway,
not question anybody.
okay.
And then Jeannie Forrester, she likes to pretend she's a conservative, but she voted to put Obamacare's Medicaid expansion into place. They didn't need her vote. She did it on purpose. She voted to put one of the biggest welfare programs to ever hit New Hampshire into place. And now she's running around holding her pink Glock wrong in a video and telling
No.
to you, teacup it, she needs some lessons. But she's running around saying she's conservative when she voted for Obamacare's Medicaid expansion, and she didn't have to. Frank Out of Blue came out with a new ad today. Check it out. The guy he was courageous. He's an actual conservative. He's an actual liberty-oriented guy. He actually cares about the state, not just political hackery like these other three.
So you don't
that
have
in
any
3
real
minutes.
strong
Well
opinion
done.
in this
I'm
race?
impressed.
That's my opinion.
That's your opinion?
So
You're
where are
sticking-
you hoping to go after this? What are you going to do in the next 2
I was
years?
going to go down to Margarita's, get something to eat.
No, he's talking to you, honey.
Want to go to Margarita's, get
I'm
something
going
to
to still keep fighting.
Okay.
I'm hoping New Hampshire doesn't go bad, but I don't know with this election what's
think
going to
so.
happen.
Well, you know,
I
it's
don't think
people like you that will keep New Hampshire strong.
Nope.
We need more people to fight is what we need.
I will tell you, and this is the absolute truth. The reason I ran for state legislator in
Because you
2000,
needed a job.
no,
Okay.
not for $100 a year. I have lost thousands of dollars every year I'm in the legislature. Thousands, okay? The reason I ran is because it's a trajectory. You could see the trajectory from 20 years ago. And that trajectory is communism.
Yep.
Okay, that's where we're headed. That's what their intent is. That's what all the disruption is about. Cause disruption, and I knew in 2000 when I first ran that I am not probably capable of, and when they come for my guns, of shooting a 23-year-old cop who's got a wife and 2 kids to defend my right to bear arms. I don't think I could pull the trigger. So I said, well, this is my opportunity. If I run now and fight for the Second Amendment, maybe I won't have to. I am telling you, absolutely, if Hillary gets in, absolutely, I probably am going to have to. We are at that point where we are going to not lose, quote unquote, the Second Amendment, because we'll still have it, but they will through law, hook or crook, take away everybody's right to own a firearm because they want absolute control, and that's what this is all about. That's what this election's about, and we can't let them win. I love you. I love you. Stop going out for frickin' water. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.